All right, guys, here it is. I finally completed it. I finally installed the TBS 6-channel RX Nano. All the parts and everything that I've used will be in a link in the description below. So in the front, I got the Foxeer Cat Mini and the VTX. I have the TBS Unify Pro 32. And I have, for my FPV antenna, the Foxeer Lollipop V3s. And I have my Fat Shark HDOs with the Foxeer antennas, the patch antennas, and the omnidirectional antenna. And for the radio, I have the Jumper T16 with the Crossfire module. So I'm curious as to see how this is gonna run. I got the cover off of the car. So originally this car came with the Spectrum SR61108T. I really haven't taken this for a run at all, but I've lost many of those, many meaning 3 in total, behind using Spectrum receivers. So I'm not going to chance it with this car right here. So this is what it came with stock. And as for the remote, it came with the DX3 pistol grip. It was pretty good. I ran it maybe once just to test it out. I really didn't like that I had to keep my finger on a certain pressure just to maintain a certain speed. So this wasn't going to work out for me. It took me maybe 3 minutes to figure that out. The turning, on the other hand, is pretty dope. It's pretty good. Got all the these knobs for brake rate and steering trim and throttle trim and all this good stuff. I'm not too familiar with the RC world, so this is an experience and a project. Moving along, let me put this thing to the side. Maybe I'll do a budget build in the future with that. Okay. So this is how the, let me focus. This is how the 6-channel receiver looks like. Okay. Okay. I had to finagle this until I get the proper connectors, but that's not a problem. That's an easy swap. Anyway, I got the throttle on channel 1, steering on channel 2, and smart audio on channel 4 is what I'm currently using. I just installed both just in case, because I am planning on using a flight controller at some point, so I might be changing out this receiver. I don't know, let's see what happens. I gotta get the parts. So I went ahead and I built this little wire harness here. Again, this is all for testing purposes. Until I get all the right connectors. This is an IC5 connector right here. I just got some alligator clips. Feeding a 10-gauge wire to a XT60 connector. And a battery, 2,200 milliamp battery, solely for testing, just to make sure everything was operating smoothly. Moving forward, I got all the parts will be in the description, in the link in the description. These are balance lead connectors I had gotten a kit. So I used a 4-pin balance lead connector here. Of course, my voltage input, whatever I choose to put in here. So this system takes 6S, and this is what I intend to use, 6S. Currently, this is a 5S battery here that I have, so I'm good with that. I made a wire harness all until I get my new wires and everything. Yep. So this is how it's connected right here. Now to take a look at what I did at the bottom. I'm going to neaten up the wires now that I know everything is fully functional. Just put a little hot glue here to support the cables. I added a little toggle switch here. Again, I got the balance lead connectors here. All this is connected to the lights and the ATX on the bottom. Let me turn this around. And this is how it's looking like. I drilled this hole. I gotta get a 90-degree SMA connector to 90-degree MMCX connector. And I would like for it to be a few inches long. I gotta see what are the options. But I drilled this hole out so then I can feed this antenna up through this SMA. Let me see here. This SMA connector would go there. And I also drilled a hole here for my rear facing camera. And I will be installing the Lumineer Lux F7 Ultimate Flight Controller. Once I get the PDB that goes with this flight controller, I will install it, and I will be using the LED functions to do my turn signals when I get the LEDs installed, and some flashing lights and all that good stuff. And I'll also be trying to do something with an Arduino board to do some funky lights. Let's see what that looks like. But putting this back together, I will put this back together and I will give you a demonstration of how I set up the controls using my Jumper T16 radio. Okay, I've got the car set up, and pardon the mess, but I'm indoors right now. So this area right here is my living room, and the lights are completely off. Okay, lights are on, lights are off. This camera is a nighttime camera. So we are going to see how well does this little guy do with the lights that output from the tires with all the lights off in the house. And I'm doing this in the house because my setup is meant for testing purposes only. And that's until I get all of the necessary parts that needed to complete this as neatly and fully functional as possible. Before I install this cover, this harness is safe out of any rotating parts inside the frame. So this wire harness will be nice and short in between the body brackets right here. It's definitely short enough. Let me put it on. But before I do turn it on, I do want to explain how I got my radio working. the controls. Okay, so basically before programming it, you had to keep the throttle in a center position, as that's just the way it comes stock. That'll be neutral. Anything above 0 positive numbers is forward. Anything below 0 negative numbers is reverse. And yeah, not good. So I programmed this switch. Is a 3-position switch on the jumper T16, the SG switch. The middle position will be neutral. The position facing you, leaning towards you, is reverse, and leaning away from you is forward. I'm gonna turn on the radio first, make sure everything is in its position. I still gotta program all the switches accordingly. Make sure this is in the center position because that's very important. Alrighty, so I have the battery connected, and this is the power button right here. So when I turn this on, telemetry works. Now I'm gonna get the body on. I'm gonna use the audio from this iPhone, and I'm going to use the DVR from my Foxeer camera. Before I do any runs, I will turn off all the lights in the house. Let's see how this works out. All the lights in the house are off now. Okay, so forward position switch, left, right, we are gonna go. Alrighty. Alright, forward. Alright, hitting reverse. This is, I'm in a tight area, so I'm going to be bumping into stuff slightly. Not bad. All the lights are off in the house. Oops. Reverse it. Forward. Oh, my room light is on, but all the lights are over here is off. Forward. Alrighty. So there is going to be a part 2 to this video series. Maybe there's going to be more parts because I will be doing a lot of mods to this car. This is my first RC car, and I felt like I wanted to get something that was very good so then I can make it better.